Hey Drake, welcome to this Explainr. Today we are diving into something really special. We're breaking down a truly incredible project, literally a full-fledged AI company that your dad, Scott Ford, has been building in his spare time. He actually wrote this brilliant white paper specifically for you. The whole point is to explain exactly what this system is, why he built it, and honestly, the coolest part, how you can build one just like it without needing to be a software engineer at all. So let's just dive right into it.
Okay, so I want you to picture something for a second, Drake. Imagine having a massive staff of totally tireless analysts working for you around the clock. Like, one of them is up reading every single Wall Street research note at 4 a.m. and then sliding a crisp, perfect summary onto your desk by 6 a.m. Meanwhile, 3 others are sitting there recomputing every single delivery fee your business pays to Uber Eats or DoorDash, down to the exact penny every single week. Now imagine this entire staff never sleeps, they never take a day off, and the whole shebang costs less per month than going out for a single business dinner. That is exactly what CEO3.ai is.
Your dad honestly put it best in his white paper. He wrote, and I quote, "For the past few months, I've been building something I think may end up being the most interesting thing I've ever worked on." You see, he built CEO3.ai out of pure necessity over at Hawaiian Bros. He was looking at 2 really massive problems. First, unaudited money was just flowing out through delivery platforms. And second, there was this absolute flood of unread industry intelligence just piling up in his inbox every single day. I mean, no human actually has the time to reconcile all of that, so he built the digital staff to do it for him.
All right, Section 1, inside the machine room, where we are going to demystify the AI office.
Let's step inside this digital office building and see exactly how this machine was built, especially since your dad didn't hire a single software team to do it. First things first, we gotta strip away all the Silicon Valley buzzwords. What actually is an AI agent? Well, it's not magic. It's really just 3 simple things bolted together. It is an alarm clock, basically a schedule that tells the system exactly when to wake up. It's a pretty basic fetching script that goes out and grabs data. And finally, it's an AI brain, in this case Claude, wired in at exactly one specific spot to process that data. That's it. Schedule, script, and a model call.
Now, what's really fascinating is how your dad actually builds these agents. He does it by simply talking to Claude, using what he calls work orders. He literally just hands Claude a written job description, and Claude goes and writes the code. But to keep this whole operation from turning into total chaos, he uses 3 crucial governing documents. These act as the system's institutional memory. You've got the blueprint, which contains the unbreakable rules. The state, which tracks exactly what is built and running today. And the backlog, which is just a list of the next work orders to be completed. Every single building session with Claude starts with these 3 documents. To help you visualize the physical layout of this new digital office, your dad uses some pretty perfect analogies in the paper. So, Heroku is the cloud platform he uses. You can think of it as a rented office building where your agents sit at their desks working on computers that are always on. Postgres and Google Drive, those are your filing cabinets. Postgres holds these perfectly organized spreadsheets, while Drive holds all the untouched original receipts and evidence. And then there's Gmail. That's simply the mailroom. It is the exclusive inbox where your agents slide their finished reports under your door.
Okay, Section 2. Meet your new staff, the movie character agents.
It is time to actually meet this tireless digital staff running the data for Hawaiian Bros. But before we introduce them by name, I want you to see the elegantly simple 4-step assembly line that every single piece of data runs through. Step 1, the agent collects the data mechanically. Step 2, it stores the untouched original file and safely logs the facts in the database. Step 3, it analyzes that data. And we'll talk more about how he splits up math and judgment in just a second. And finally, Step 4, it delivers the report, but only after it passes through a super strict red team gate. Every agent your dad builds runs on this exact same pipeline.
So who is actually doing the heavy lifting here? Your dad came up with a really fun naming convention that gives these hardworking software agents distinct, memorable personalities. First up, you have Frank Abagnale, named after the guy from Catch Me If You Can. Frank is a forensic auditor, and his only job is sniffing out missing delivery fees. Then you've got George Smiley, the spy master from Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. George quietly reads all the industry intelligence overnight and has a brief ready for your dad by 6 a.m. And finally, Colonel Jessup from A Few Good Men. Jessup is the ultimate gatekeeper of the whole system.
Which brings us to Section 3, Safety Rails and Trust, or why you can actually trust an AI with your company's money.
Speaking of Colonel Jessup, how did your dad make sure this AI doesn't, hallucinate and start completely making up numbers when it comes to real money? Well, this right here is your dad's golden rule.
code does the math, and the model does the judgment. Look, AI models are absolutely brilliant at reading, summarizing, and writing prose, but they can be notoriously terrible at math. So, in CEO3.ai, the AI model is kept completely away from the calculator. Ordinary, testable computer code does all the arithmetic, the fees, and the totals. The AI is only allowed to read the results of that math to write up the final briefing.
Building on that golden rule, here are the structural safety rails hard-coded into the company. Like we just said, the model never, ever does math. Next, that red team gate, Colonel Jessup, stands directly in front of every single send. If an agent writes a report and Jessup cannot mathematically trace a number back to the original source data, that report is blocked. Boom, done. Silence is always preferred over confident nonsense. Plus, the recipients are hard-coded to exactly one inbox, your dad's, so the blast radius of any potential mistake is totally contained. And lastly, every single code deployment is byte verified for perfect accuracy. So trust isn't just a promise here, it's structurally enforced.
Moving into Section 4, the future roadmap. Taking this from a project to a product.
So at the time your dad wrote this white paper, he noted the agency was about 41% built. So what's the roadmap from here? He lays out a really clear 3-step plan to take CEO3.ai from a private, proud dad project into a fully monetized commercial product. Era 1 is Prove. That's where Hawaiian Bros serves as client number 1, battle testing all the pipelines and those safety rails we talked about. Era 2 is Productize, where those internal movie character names get swapped out for professional product names, and all the Hawaiian Bros branding is stripped away. And finally, Era 3 is Monetize, where this exact system gets sold to other restaurant operators, or honestly, any industry, because the underlying data pipeline is completely universal.
All right, our final section, Section 5, the playbook to build your own, where your dad is basically handing you the keys.
Drake, this is absolutely the most important part of this whole explainer. Your dad wants you to know that you can build this too. You literally do not need to be a programmer. He's handing you the keys right now, and the playbook starts with the number 1. This is the golden rule of getting started. Pick just one recurrent question you actually care about and build one agent to solve it. Seriously, do not try to build an entire digital empire on day one. Pick one single problem, whether it's summarizing news in your specific industry or checking one daily metric, and just start there.
Once you pick that one problem, you simply follow these critical steps. It's a checklist. First, you write your 3 governing documents. Then, you hand work order number 1 to Claude and just let the AI write the code for you. You rent your cheap cloud office space on Heroku. You make absolutely sure your data lands safely in your Postgres filing cabinet before the AI is ever allowed to look at it. You strictly split the math from the judgment. And, super importantly, you build your red team gate before you ever try to scale up your volume. Honestly, anyone with a bit of curiosity and patience can assemble their own AI agency just by following this exact checklist. Before we wrap up, I really want to highlight this one profound lesson from the paper. Attention is the scarce resource, so the system optimizes for silence. The true value of having these AI agents isn't about them flooding you with more information. It's actually about them giving you less information, but of a radically higher quality. Like if George Smiley reads the overnight news and finds absolutely nothing important, he sends you nothing. That silence is the ultimate luxury.
So, Drake, you've got the playbook now. You understand the analogies, you know about the safety rails, and you have the exact steps to build your own tireless digital staff without writing a single line of code yourself. Your dad built an incredible machine that manages millions of dollars and saves him countless hours. So really, the only question left for you is what recurring problem in your life are you going to solve first? Open up Claude and start building. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.